Hi, welcome or welcome back. I'm Evie and I do mini video essays analyzing society. Thank you for finding this video. And subscribe if this video convinces you that what I do is worth your time. Beauty is not a privilege. Seriously, in like 90% of life it is not. Spicy, I know, but defensible. I have studies to elaborate with later on. They are also all listed in the description box. For women, unless you are a victim in court, it is not beneficial. I don't blame you for thinking that it is, however. Why would it not be true? And who wants to research this thing? And how would you even go about it? I also did not question it, but then one day I went, this does not really make any sense now, does it? And sure enough, it does not. We were all sold a lie that is convenient for the powerful, actually. I will get to it. And yes, you get attention when you are attractive, but attention itself is neutral. Who is looking at who, and for what purpose is not inherently good. But we value attention and think that all the good in our lives is a consequence of that. It is a human to want to outsource our misfortunes to something specific, and this is a great candidate, so I understand it. But sometimes life just sucks and there is no explanation. And on the other side you have people who go, wait, I'm not bad looking, shouldn't the privilege have kicked in? At least on a few occasions. And people who see reality differently would answer that that is not what privilege is. It is structural, statistical. Well, it isn't, even under those criteria. But unfortunately, the task is that anything beautiful must be destroyed. I know that ordinary people do not believe it, but loud enough and dangerous enough people believe it. Because it is a part of a power structure that upholds patriarchy. I fundamentally disagree with that worldview, because it misattributes where true power in a society lies. After all has been destroyed in their ideal scenario, who gets to build the new when people no longer have anything in common, no common culture, which is vital to even be able to start a society. When you have nothing stable, you can be programmed to think virtually anything. We need differences to know who we are and where we stand. Like primates do this. Primates compare themselves to each other. That is how natural it is for us. The highest animals without hierarchies are jellyfish. Who would win, one meaty boy or billions of years of evolution? And on top of that, there are countless studies showing that it isn't really a privilege for people. But then why attack it? Because it has been misidentified as one of the centers of power in modern society, because it is so visible. Yes, you should not feel like the world is a hopeless mess if you happen to be ugly, if you even are, which is also like your opinion, man. I bet you're beautiful. The healthy approach is to focus on resilience and on not internalizing it, and on not overthinking it as a power dynamic. Thanks to our evolution, beauty is not perceived as neutral, even though objectively it is, so it provokes backlash. And why not? Beautiful people cannot suffer, right? It's only fair to level the playing field a little. No. So how did this myth that beauty is the privilege even start? The first experiment was done in 1972, and the sample was, I want to say, fairly small for what it unleashed. Only 30 men and 30 women. They were looking at pictures of people and making assumptions about their lives. Yes, beautiful people were assumed to have better lives, but even then the effects were not large, and in a few cases average people scored just better. Later meta-analyses found at best nuance in this effect. Overall it varied for different characteristics. No beauty credit for integrity or care for other people. The largest effect that beauty had on were the presumptions about social competence, or in other words, how skilled you are in interacting with other people. And when you get more information about a person, that effect no longer holds. So all that this is saying is that within the first few seconds of an interaction with a person, your brain is more likely to create a positive narrative about them until you get more information. But with attractive people, you notice them more, so you have more information to analyze. Now, how strong first impressions actually are, we do not know. The research on that is very scattered. It's understandable, but since it is so hard to measure, it is difficult to come to any conclusions. A semi-replication of the original paper showed that the conclusions society adopted were at best nuanced, or just incorrect. When attractive people were doing the rating, they did not have such a skewed opinion about other attractive people, and they also did not judge them as extremely in other categories. What about the hiring research, though? Well, about that, there is one fairly large-scale study that sent out thousands of CVs in combinations to specifically control for the effect of attractiveness and to see who gets a callback and who does not. The most likely women to get a callback were women with CVs completely without a picture. Men who were attractive got significantly more callbacks than CVs without pictures of those with average-looking men. No such effect was found for attractive women. So if you're pretty and poor, you're doubly screwed. We already have a vendetta against the socioeconomic status people were born into, but modern ideology holds this as an almost sacred moral truth that attractive people have an easier time. Any suffering is already rendered invisible, and add to that the people who feel threatened by your existence, and it's a normal life with problems and enemies. Now, the study concludes that it is likely competitiveness and envy among women that leads to this effect. And we know this, there is no sisterhood. We would love that there was a sisterhood, but there is no sisterhood. Attractiveness consistently proves to be an advantage for men, but is an advantage for women only when they are seeking a non-managerial position. And attractive people are less likely to be hired for less desirable jobs because of the preconceived notion that they will be entitled. So good luck being poor and attractive, you are triple F. So much for the hiring advantage. Well, if your benchmark for privilege is whether you are considered credible in court, then yes, attractive women have an easier time in court. Kind of, depends on the crime that was committed. But they can manipulate, right? Well, it may be easier to get away with unethical things, but that is not what a study in the British Parliament and the ethical or unethical behavior of MPs found. Attractive MPs tended to overclaim on their expenses less. Now, when someone appeared competent, they would claim more expenses than was the actual reality. It really speaks to the uselessness of the ideology when it does not reflect on reality to such an extent, and you have studies to prove it. We are only perpetuating harm with that notion that attractive people have easier lives. Let's take that thought 3 steps further. Everyone thinks it. And how do we react when we perceive that someone has an unearned advantage? We punish, or don't assume correlation when there is likely to be one. Attractive adolescents are more likely to be abused in all kinds of ways, you know what I mean. It's a function of social cohesion. Our collective idiotic brain goes, this is different, must destroy or use. I still like people, even though facts don't show that I should. Subscribe to fight the AI algorithm. And come back tomorrow, there will be another video by then.